Hi boys and girls, for today's project we are going to be creating a Happy New Year poster with a surprise message inside. For this project you will need a piece of paper held vertically up and down. You will also need a pencil and an eraser, a black Sharpie or black marker to trace, and you also are going to need some coloring supplies, whether they're crayons, markers, whatever you have at home. We're going to start by holding our paper up and down vertically and taking the top edge of our paper and folding it over to the bottom, making sure that our crease is straight across and that our paper is even. Now we're going to take the bottom edge of our paper, just the top flap, and fold it up to the top. Once again, make sure that you're creasing your paper and folding it evenly. Next, take your whole paper and flip it over. Then take that bottom edge once again and fold it up to the top. After you're done folding it up to the top, I want you to open your paper back up and turn it back over. Now the reason why we made that last fold is to create a guideline for us when we create our surprise message inside later on. Let's create the message on the outside of our project. On the top half of this paper, notice that I am above the crease going through the center. I'm going to write the word happy in all capital letters, evenly spacing out my letters, and I'm writing lightly so they can easily be erased later on. Then on the bottom half underneath the crease, I'm going to write New Year, doing the same thing, all uppercase letters and writing lightly. Now next we are going to start tracing our letters to create block letters. This part is very important because you have to open up your paper. If you don't open up your paper and you go to trace using black marker, it's going to bleed into the inside of your paper where your secret message is going to be. Now when drawing block letters, you're going to trace the outline of the letters using straight edges and corners inside of the letters and outside of the letters. If you have a letter like the letter A, don't forget the open space in the top of the A, or the same thing for the open space at the top of the P. To make sure that marker doesn't get on the table that you are tracing on, you can always put a scrap piece of paper underneath your project. Once again, we're turning those uppercase letters into block letters. If you need more time during each step, you can always pause the video and then press play when you are ready. When you're done tracing, go ahead and erase your pencil marks of the original uppercase letters that were inside of those block letters. I'm going to take my scrap paper and put it off to the side for the next step, and I will use it again later on. So now I'm going to fold my paper once again, making sure that it has a nice crease. And now I'm going to start creating that design around my message, Happy New Year. I'm going to use a pencil to do this, and I'll later on trace. I'm going to create a scalloped line around my Happy New Year message, curved lines like a happy face in a row, going around my New Year message. If you need to turn your paper when you do this, definitely go ahead and do that. When I'm done making my first round of scalloped lines going around my message, I'm going to double that line to give that message more emphasis, to really make my message stand out. Feel free to create this design with any type of line you would like to choose. It could be a wavy line, a zigzag line, maybe a castle line, or even a squiggle line. Now I'm going to create some simple stars and lightning bolts in the background of my message. You can create any type of design in your background, whatever you want. Maybe you add a smiley face or a heart or some confetti pieces. When you're done creating your design in your background, you can trace it with Sharpie marker or black marker. Don't forget your placemat, and don't forget to open up your paper when you are tracing. When you're done tracing, don't forget to erase any pencil marks you might see. Okay, now your outside message is all done. It's time to create the message inside of our project. You're going to open up your paper all the way, and in the center of your paper, create a zigzag line with very long zigs and zags. So starting in the center, I'm going to go up and down, creating a big zigzag line, some shorter, some taller, and I'm going around in a circle, and I'm going to turn my paper as I go. This zigzag line, when you close it off, is going to look like an explosion. Now I want to double that line again just to give it some more emphasis, so it really stands out later on when I'm coloring. Now we drew these zigzag lines before we drew our 2021 because it will be a lot easier to just erase those little bit of lines inside the numbers later on, instead of trying to draw this explosive zigzag shape behind the 2021. So as you could see, I took my pencil and I wrote 2021. And now I'm going to start outlining those numbers like I did with my block letters. Don't worry about the pencil. Go right over the pencil marks for the explosive zigzag shape. You will be able to erase those when you're done tracing the outline inside and outside of those numbers. You're done creating block numbers, just take your eraser and very carefully inside of those numbers just erase the lines from that explosive zigzag shape. Once you erase the lines inside those numbers, you can take your Sharpie or black marker and carefully outline the explosive zigzag shape. Go nice and slow, making sure that you do not draw through the numbers you just drew. When you're all done tracing, don't forget to erase those pencil marks. Now I'm going to create a little bit more emphasis on those numbers by creating a little shadow behind my numbers. So you just want to make a thicker outline on one side of your number on each number. So I'm going to do that for the 0. Don't forget the inside part of the 0. Okay, so I'm going to do the right side of my numbers and I'm going to just thicken that outline. When you're all done creating that shadow, you can go ahead and attach your top outside design around your letters to the bottom. So you're just continuing your design down the sides of your paper, attaching the top to the bottom. Now make sure that you do this in pencil first and then you trace. When you're all done tracing those lines, if you would like to add more designs in the background, like the stars and the lightning bolts that I added, make sure when you add them, you do not cross over the guidelines. Now, the guidelines are the first crease when you open your paper up all the way, and the last crease when you open your paper up all the way. Do not draw past that bottom crease or that top crease. If you do, when you fold your paper up all the way, it's going to ruin the outside design. Now it's time to add some color. Feel free to use whatever coloring supplies you want and whatever colors you choose. The only thing you should make sure of is that you stay consistent. Whatever colors I'm using on the outside of my design when I close my paper off, I also want to try to use those same colors on the inside where the designs connect, like the scalloped line I drew around my letters or the stars and lightning bolt designs that I created in the background. I hope you enjoyed creating this Happy New Year poster with the surprise 2021 message inside. Don't forget to have fun, be creative, and don't worry if you make a mistake. See you next time, and Happy New Year.